Ain't no fake love between us, cause we don't get at an inch. Peace king for life, that's how we work and we win. Real friends. Real friends. Where would I be without my, Hey son, who gon' ride for me like my day one?
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to, no, I'm joking. Hey, welcome back to the What We All Needed podcast, where it's more than just a podcast. This is a community, a brotherhood of some men that figured out we need each other, we need accountability, we need that support, that push. We need this community right here. And today is a special day. We're gonna talk about some things that we can all relate to. A lot of us can relate to. Let's get into it. I'm Colin, aka educator, father, husband, friend. Who else we got on here?
From Yusha's side, good morning, everyone. Good night, everyone, and good day. Whatever part of the day you're listening to this too, man.
Hey, I'm half man, half amazing. I apologize, brother. My apologies for cutting you off. Young sir, would you like to finish what you had to say? Brother?
I'm obviously not that important. You go ahead, brother. You finish.
You sure? Okay. All right. So I'm half man, half amazing. Sean Nichols Sr. I'm a proud husband, proud father. Just a guy out here really trying to make it, man, and carve a path for the future.
Oh, engineer? Okay.
Oh, dope. It's your boy Ali at the WWAN. Yeah, good morning, everybody. It's morning here in the DMV. I'm here. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm an advisor to all my brothers and my nephews out here. I'm happy to be here, y'all. I don't know if y'all can tell. And by the way, Black women are perfect.
Amen. I concur. Hey, you still high off the Miami trip. You still got that sunshine.
Wait till we get to work in the wind. I'm gonna tell y'all all about it.
Yeah, it is.
He said, "We're like a true old school player. Y'all wait till we get to work in the wind."
That's why I said it. I did.
All right, guys. Let's get into something a little fun, man. We're gonna do this or that. I have a few questions. Let's see how many questions we can accomplish within a 5-minute time frame. So, as previously instructed, please be prepared to put up A and B. I will do a 3-second countdown. Please wait to give your answer until that 3-second countdown is completed.
Please count down like a Jamaican, please.
Say what?
Please count down like a Jamaican. Tree.
Why?
Oh my gosh, bruh. All right. So, first question. Would you rather have a successful child who is a criminal or a law-abiding sloth as a child? 1, hold on, bro. 3.
Follow the rules, okay?
2, 1.
Is this what you call me here for?
All right. Hey, look.
Hey.
That's what's up, because
we got lawyers for that.
We want them to achieve, man.
Everybody's all A.
All right.
A.
All right, next question. Would you rather
a
1-minute conversation?
Be Nino Brown or Pookie? I feel like that's what you just asked me.
Wow. Wow. Hey, go for it. Whatever it is, put your mind to it. Would you rather have a 1-minute conversation with your past self or a 1-minute conversation with your future self? 3, 2, 1. Ooh, okay. Ali, you want to speak to your past self. Everybody else chose B, speak to the future self. Okay, respect. Next question. Would you rather be remembered in history books for doing something terrible or be completely forgotten after you die? 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. So we got a split. Is Colin and I would rather be remembered by doing something terrible. We got Yusha and Ali that would rather be completely forgotten about.
Legacy.
I'll never be forgotten by the Most High.
Yeah. Hey, ashes to ashes, man.
I'll take
dust
that.
to dust, champ.
I'll take that. Hey, but look, we got a lot of presidents that came out of things that are terrible, and they have a legacy for their family. But we'll move on. Would you rather live 1,000? Oh, I'm sorry. Would you rather live 1,000-year life, or would you rather live 10 100-year lives? 3, 2, 1.
I'm still doing the math.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm not putting nothing up because I ain't did the math yet, bro. So
Make me
like,
All right. So we got the accountant that's got a little bit of brain fog. So it's one life that's 1,000 years. You live to be 1,000-year old, or you could live 10 separate 100-year lives.
That's 10,000, right?
No, that's 1,000.
That's
That's
still
1,000,
1,000?
bro.
Oh.
That's 1,000. That's 1,000, teacher. All right.
Wait, I'm a science teacher.
We got 3 A. We got 3 A's. And then myself, I would rather live 10 separate lives, 100 years apiece.
hey, by the way, I'm gonna speak on my career that Sean just tried to like shit on. By the way, it's good to have a very patient and accurate accountant versus a very fast and inaccurate one. Thank you.
Tell the engineer accountant.
So as we transition, would you rather know how you die, or would you rather know when you die? Again, would you rather know how you die, or would you rather know when you die? 3, 2, 1. All right, we got another. Okay. So I would rather know when, and then we have everybody else that would rather know how. All right.
So you want to plan that thing out.
I like that.
All right. Would you rather travel anywhere you wanted to for the rest of your life for free, or would you rather buy your dream house for free? 3, 2, 1.
I'm trying to figure out how you buy your dream house for free.
Hey,
that's because Ali already got his dream house. That's why he.
So we got Ali and Yusha that would rather travel for the rest of their lives for free.
Colin
and I would rather have.
Hey, have y'all ever been to the A and spent some time with Colin?
Stop.
I'm about to say, ain't no way you about to shoot
Sean,
that
that
at
felt
me.
like a trick question. Sean, that felt like a trick question. You asked me would I buy something for free?
Okay, Mr. Literal.
Yeah, we getting, yeah, all right. Okay. All right. All right, so this is the last one. Would you rather be known for always being honest, or would you rather be known for always being kind? 3, 2, 1. All right. 100%.
Finally aligned.
Everybody would rather be completely honest. All right, cool. Appreciate y'all for participating in the game today.
My kids are being kind.
You know what I noticed? We started a line and we ended a line. So no matter what happened in the middle, we still together.
There it is.
Nah.
Sean, are those pearls? Are you wearing pearls?
Yeah, he's wearing emerald. It's emerald pearls.
Yeah, I'm representing for my sisters today. Shout out to the AKAs. Love y'all.
I like how you just owned it.
Nah. This is so for those that don't know. I like to adorn myself. I like to adorn myself in jewelry. However, I do not like things that are flashy. And so over the years, I've found pieces that stick out to me that I wouldn't mind wearing just to be different, but also that I think look dope, which I do think that this looks dope. But it was very, very economical. And so no matter how much money I make in the future, I still don't plan to show my wealth.
Rock your beads, so it's all good. I was just asking.
Rock your beads. Okay. That's what I heard in my mind when you just said that.
All I heard was that Samantha made that for you in her class.
Hey, but look though, that's fitting because I'm a great father, so I definitely will wear that thing with pride. Yeah.
Good transition. Speaking of fatherhood, you should.
I'm disgusted with Sean.
What'd you say, MJG?
I said I'm disgusted. Visually, you look like it. You look like you didn't take a bath and put on cologne. That's visually what you do.
Yo,
Hey, I appreciate it, brother.
nobody is safe today.
Thank you for trying to smell me through the camera.
Ugh, right?
Hey,
I appreciate you.
no, you appreciate him for that.
Look like, look.
Yeah.
We are going to a fatherhood conversation. We want to welcome everybody into our world. We are all fathers, and we this is definitely something that is deep and is dear to us, which is fatherhood. And y'all get a chance to hear us talk about it today. We all have developed some questions for each other. And I just want to jump in. My question, right? I'm starting off with this section called Fatherhood Origin Story, right? I just really want to get everybody familiar with, how you all became fathers and what their process was like. So let's just start, first of all, by acknowledging when you became a father. But because of the conversation we're having today, I want to go a little further with that question. So when did you become a father? And give at least one thing that was very significant that was happening in your life at the time. And Colin, I'm start with you.
All right. I became a father first time became a father February 25th, 2012. It's my son. Daughter was born 2 years later, June 29th, 2014. What was going on significant at that time I became a father? I was young. We were newly married, just starting off in careers, homeowners. And I mean, I would just say in general, once she got pregnant, my mind went straight to like, oh, I gotta, like, my provider mindset just went up to the roof, and I don't think it ever came back down. So I immediately was like, let me go get a second job. Let me figure out how to get to the bag quickly to support this family we're growing.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's had a long lasting effect. We working through that in therapy now, but provider mode to the 10th degree for sure.
So you was in this place where basically the most significant thing was there was a lot of new things.
Yep.
At a new age. Cool. Sean, what about you?
First child was in 2011. And so where I was at the time, I was fresh in my career, out of college, entry level career, actually working and commuting about 2 hours one way. So 4 hours total on a bad day. But I just previously purchased my first home at like the tail end of 2009. It was a complete renovation. At that time when I purchased it, I kind of took my foot off the pedal as far as like pressing to move in, because I felt like I had an accomplishment from purchasing the home, on top of just being tired from everything with life. Found out that my lady at the time, now my ex-wife, was pregnant, and so that is what kind of immediately whipped me into shape of understanding that I needed to have a home for us to move into. So ended up having my first son in 2011, moved into the home and got married in 2012. But having my son was probably one of the best things that could have happened to me as far as maturity and growth for my life.
Oh. Thank you for that. Noble one, Ali, when did you become a father? What was something significant going on in your life?
Yeah, so I'm gonna answer the second one first. What was really significant was that we had lost 3 before I actually became one. So that was a space we were in where we didn't even know if it was going to happen. But in 2012, God blessed us, and it was definitely a beautiful feeling for sure.
That's real.
Glad they made it here. I'll conclude with that question. So I became a father in 2009. The most significant thing that was happening to me at the time is that, one, my father passed away right after my ex got pregnant. And then I graduated from college. So, and I moved to DC. So 3 really big changes for me, right? Graduated from college, father passed away, which is the biggest change. And then I moved to DC. Thank y'all for that input. Now, I want to know, right? Because I know from experience how it feels. When you found out that Shorty was pregnant, that your girl, your wife, whatever, your ex was pregnant, what emotions did you go through? What did it do to you when you found out?
Anybody?
Let's go Ali first this time. Especially,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, you coming from where you was coming from, I'm sure you had a heightened level of emotions.
yeah, I was really, really emotional. I registered my first gun. That was definitely one of the first things I did because I was having a girl. Um, and I cried significantly in the car after when we passed the first trimester. And I played Marvin Sapp um, testimony all on the whole ride back from the sonogram. And it was just really a revelation that God exists for sure. Because my wife got pregnant on one fallopian tube, so it's our miracle baby.
So
Wow.
for you, my wife got pregnant on one fallopian tube. So this is the fourth pregnancy. Is there like a right? There's an excitement there, obviously, right? You listen to Marvin Sapp, you didn't win register your first gun when you found out, but like, are y'all dealing at all with the fear of it ever happening again?
At that moment,
Yeah.
nah. And that moment, we in complete like go mode. I don't think I look back after that, and I'm glad I did.
That says a lot about your resiliency as a couple. No. Sean, what about you?
When I first found out, from a fleshly standpoint, I wasn't ready. I was just in shock. However, the reality of it is that I always wanted to be a father, and not only be a father, I wanted to be a great father to my children, to provide them with everything that I did not have and everything that I desired having when I was growing up. So I think that it took me a few days for it to kind of not be surreal anymore. But after that, I was just joyous.
Joyous. So you were shocked at first. How did you transition from shock to joyous, right? Because I'm sure, right, there's some brothers listening who might have just found out themselves, right? They might be dealing with that shock. What allowed you to like transition? Not only the fact that I know you said you always wanted to be a father, but still, like, what happened to you allowed you to just settle your
Yeah.
peace and get to the joy?
Stepping outside of myself, right? That fleshly standpoint of, the initial of how does it affect me? How do I feel? What do I think? When the reality of it is that once you become a father or a parent, whether you want to be a parent or whether you don't want to be a parent, it's not about you anymore. And the quicker you get to that understanding and acceptance, the easier the ride will be. Pause.
We in it now.
This
Yeah.
Paul.
All right.
It's on me?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So I really didn't experience like extreme emotions until closer to delivery. I'm one of those people when like crazy things happen, whether it's like trauma or excitement, like in the moment, kind of like Ali was saying, I'm just on go mode. Like I'm gonna just deal with it. I'm usually like my emotional reaction is usually reflective after the fact.
Mm.
So when we first found out, it was just like, yeah, this is what we doing. We got married, got the house, got jobs, got a kid. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, this is what we doing. It's just a regular flow. I do remember the day because we had to induce labor for my son. So I do remember like knowing like, all right, tonight we're going to the hospital to induce labor. I remember being at work and like packing up, being prepared to not be at work for a few weeks and just being frozen. Like, is this really about to happen? Like, what I'm about to do? Like, I don't know if I'm even ready for this. Like, I got a choice. And I remember my manager at the time be like, why are you still here? Go. And I'm like, all right. Like, I needed somebody to tell me to move my legs. But the biggest emotion I felt was like immediately after birth. And I don't know why, but in that moment, I was filled with like the most joy I probably ever had in my life, other than probably wedding day, seeing her walk down the aisle. But it was like a feeling of like a level of excitement I never felt. And for some reason, I felt like the only person that can relate in this moment is my dad. So like I remember like came out, cut the umbilical cord, all that, and then it was like, all right, everybody was out in the waiting room, and I just like ran out the room and was like, "Where's dad? Where's dad?" Like I didn't want to talk to nobody else. Like 20 people out there. I just found my dad, and I just like had a moment with him because I just felt like in that moment, that's the only person I could like relate to what I'm experiencing right now.
Wow, dope.
Man.
What about you, Masego? I mean, Yusha?
I'm gonna answer as soon as I stop laughing. That was good, man. That was good.
I mean, it's that tweed shirt, bro.
You engineered that really nice, man. I like it.
He had that brewing for a while. He's looking for the right moment.
He did. He did. That was Folgers in your cup right there, bro. Yeah, proud of you. Dang, you just.
Would you like me to ask the question to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
what was the question?
Yeah. So what was the immediate emotion that you experienced when you first found out that you were going to be a father, Masego? Yusha.
Well, when I first found out that me and your mother was gonna have you, I wasn't too happy about it. I didn't know how you was gonna turn out, and I mean, God works in mysterious ways. I'm thankful that I got you, and I wouldn't do it any other way. You have your pluses, man. You have your pluses.
True.
I don't know how you got bald though, because neither me or your mother.
Hey. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Listen, when I found out my ex was pregnant, I was actually ecstatic. One, because we low key did it on purpose. She had endometriosis.
He's dying, dog.
Okay, hold on. You said endometriosis?
Yeah. So my ex had endometriosis. She had a pretty severe diagnosis from the doctor that was pretty much telling her, like, yo, if you're gonna have children, you need to get to it. And you know, I had already declared in my mind at the time that was going to be my wife. So, you know what I mean? I justified my sinning. And the whole play was really set up. May 8th, 2008, 2 days before I graduated from Winston-Salem State University, it was storming outside. Day 26 was the song we was playing. And, you know what I'm saying? Gianna came to be. But it was also very... it was a very mixed level of emotions because my father was also diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And he one of them old school dudes that started to reject the chemo. Like, I ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? Forget it. I'm going to eat a salad every day and let it be. So I just knew it was coming to an end for him. So there was ecstatic that Danielle finally got pregnant. It was ecstatic that at least my father would know that he had a grandchild coming from me. But then I'm also very nervous because I'm about to enter into a world of fatherhood without help from my father. And then my cousin also hit me. My cousin Dave was just like, yo, get ready to turn up. He was like, yo, your kid put you on hyperdrive. And I tell people all the time, I feel like when women are going through it physically, emotionally, all of that, when they're pregnant, I feel like men go through it mentally. Like men get mentally pregnant because the stress, the quiet stress that hit me, right? It wasn't like a loud stress. It was a quiet stress. It was like, yo, it's on you and you got to do it. And I don't think I did a very good job of overcoming that emotion then. One, because, you know, I didn't have coping mechanisms for real. We didn't do coping in my family. We just worked through everything. So I think to compensate for the stress and the challenge, I just overworked. I worked as hard as I could. I felt like that was justification for being a man. Provide.
Understood.
That's interesting. First of all, I didn't know your father passed through stage 4 cancer. What type of cancer was it?
He had lung cancer, but then of course it spread to other places.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. So my father passed too, and he passed right before I graduated, and it definitely affected how I parent now, right? Especially just locking in on some of the biggest things that I learned from my father, and how I parent my kids now. So I'm gonna throw it back to you, Yusha, because it sounds like your father played a significant role. And you mentioned how not having your father in that moment kind of like impacted you, right? So top 3 things you kind of got from your father before he passed that you now implement into like your parenting fatherhood style now.
Yeah, man, great question. My father was definitely a great dude. He was a great dude. Um, Top 3 things. There's a lot, but the top 3 things I want to bring out that like really stick to me now is one, my father loved kids, and I carry that same passion, right, as an educator. Even with Gianna, like my safe place be with children for real. And I know why he loved kids the way he did. You know what I'm saying? Why he spent time with the kids, because they don't judge, right? They just be. Um, and you can see his true nature. So he actually had a very nurturing spirit. Many people wouldn't believe that because he played too damn much, but he had a very nurturing spirit. Two is that my father, Sean will pick on us country people. My father could do everything. And so my father was a master teacher, but he didn't really teach by telling you. He taught by doing. So walking with my father was like a living apprenticeship to everything, right? How to cut wood, how to start fires, how to cook, how to clean. Like it was a walking apprenticeship. Just being with him is how he taught you. And then number 3, his in his older life, because by the time I was born, he was older. He was 44 when I was born. He had gotten to the word and he became a preacher. And so his earnestness for the word, my father would always say, question God. At a time when the church was like, don't question God. My father would be like, no, question God, because how else will you learn? And so the way he read scripture and the way he would get lost in talking about God for hours with some of his friends, with some of his closest buddies, um, and the way he would make me sit down and like go through the Bible with him. And I love doing that even with Gianna today. Like we sit down and we read through scripture, Quran, Bible, whichever one it is, and we just talk about the word.
It's real.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
that's dope. So
parallels.
that's dope. That's heavy actually. That's real heavy. I actually can see it how you walk as a man now, not just how you parent Gianna, but it definitely shines through. Colin, man, just because I know how important your dad is, he's still alive,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure your dad probably still do some things now, right, that you saw as a kid, as a young boy, that you probably implement in your parent style now. Um, and it's interesting, man, that your dad is still alive. So, do you see anything that you took from your dad, like now, right?
Hmm.
That you are still doing that your dad probably says, like, "Yo, I did that," right?
Oh, for sure, man. Like, and it's maybe because my dad is also from the country. I just heard
Mm,
so many parallels from what you experienced growing up, Yusha. But yeah, it's like what's them commercials like when you turn it into your parents? That's me all day. I'm that guy at this point. Every day I look up, I'm like, God dang, I'm doing everything he did and said now as a father. I'll say that the overarching thing that's like the most obvious is that my dad was a workaholic, is a workaholic. His dad was a workaholic. I'm a workaholic, and that's probably connected to the just being a provider and taking care of the family and the household, not wanting your kids to want for nothing. So that's definitely a posture that I take with my family and with my children. Is like, hey, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, like whatever you want, you got it, you know. And there's certain things I don't want you to have to worry about. Um, the other thing, I'm trying to think of 3, but the second one that came to mind is again, he's from Batesville, Mississippi, and he always had these like country catchphrases and sayings and like deep philosophical analogies that was connected to something that didn't make sense, you know, like and so now I find myself as an educator and as a parent doing the same thing. Now some of them I borrow from him, you know, that I just continue to use, like, man, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, you know, and I'm telling somebody like, hey, you gotta make some noise sometime to get what you need, you know. But I've also started to develop some of my own that I use regularly. Everybody that knows me know I'm gonna say, "Hey, have a great day on purpose." You know, that's just me speaking to being intentional about your energy, no matter what the environment around you it has going on. So definitely the catchphrases. If I could think of a third thing, probably just his passion. Like his passion. Some people see it as rebelliousness. I think he just has, like, he just wants things to be just and right, you know. And he ain't gonna be quiet about it when it's not. And he's a quiet person in general. Like anybody knows my dad, like he ain't a big talker. But when something ain't right, he gonna speak up. And that's something I carry through in every aspect of life, parenthood, career, relationship. I pick and choose my battles. But when something just ain't right, you know, I'm gonna speak to it for sure, and I'm willing to sacrifice myself, even especially for my kids, you know, and all of my kids' teachers and administrators know that. Like, I'm gonna go hard for you for educate my child, but when you're wrong, you're gonna hear from me immediately. So that's definitely an example of parenting when that comes out.
Shout out to the people who had their fathers in their household and the impact that it had on them directly, which I can
Mm-hmm.
see. I'm gonna toss it to Sean and I'm gonna finish it up because Sean and I.
Oh,
You
It's
you
hard.
toss
said
it
you
to
was,
Can,
hey,
the
can,
back.
can you not pause me? Can you
You
not
would,
pause? You can't pause me?
you missed
Come
that
on,
one
man.
earlier though.
yeah, no,
Man,
no, I was about to say, look, you was talking about Yusha father, so I wanted to be respectful, but you threw it back to Yusha. Now you about to toss it to me, so we gonna pause that, and then I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Speak on it, brother.
see,
Got
hey,
to be
this,
more
hey.
careful.
By
Ali. You
by
got
the
to be
way,
more careful.
we're seeing real impact on how people was fathered out here. Half man, half
Yeah,
amazing. Can you
yes, because Ali is throwing it back on niggas. So yeah, we
Am,
do. We
can
see
you
it.
really
We
pick
see
up?
it.
Can you speak to some things that you
Red
picked
light.
up from your father, if any?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So three things. So I would say the first thing is just being meticulous, organized, and structured.
Mm.
Um, and just a quick example of like placing your keys and certain things in the exact same place, right? And so then that way you can communicate that for to your kids if you need them to grab something, you know where your things are, or they pick up that habit for themselves. I would say number two is leading by example through action. A lot of things I learned from my father that I actually did not know that I was learning, but it was me learning it from absorbing through watching him, right? He didn't really explain it. He was not intentionally trying to teach me something, but I learned how to cook from watching him every single day while I was doing my homework. And I picked that up later and didn't understand that until I was older. Um, as well as working on cars, being able to be good with my hands. The third thing I would say is transparently is being impatient, right? Now the difference is that I am big on communication and explanation with my kids, whereas he was not, right? So I make sure that I do that up front with the children, but I still have a lot of growth in that area as it pertains to impatience.
Hey, so let me because I might have been inaccurate in my assumption. Did you grow up with your father in the household?
Absolutely. Grew up with my father in the household from birth. My mom and dad got a divorce when I was 25. However, my father was a functioning drug addict.
Got it. Okay. That would explain my assumption in terms of because I never hear you talk about your dad. Be honest
Yeah,
with you.
yeah.
So my assumption was that you didn't grow up with your dad. So I was inaccurate in that.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that you were inaccurate because in a lot of ways I did not grow up with my dad, right? You know, I tell people that, you know, my dad and I have a great relationship now, and I'm proud to say that you know, I love my dad, as well as the fact that he is going on 13 years of sobriety, actually in April, right? Um, but growing up, I didn't really know too much more about my dad than his name, where he worked prior to being laid off, and his birthday. So I kind of didn't grow up with my dad.
For sure. All right, well, I guess I'm the oddball here. I didn't grow up with my dad in the household. My dad migrated from Nigeria, Shagamu, um, in Nigeria, over here and met my mom. So I'm a byproduct of that type of household. And they did not they split 5 years after being married. I think I was 2 years old. So I didn't grow up with my father in the household. He did get me, you know, on those weekends or every other weekends or whenever, like, you know, that situation. But he was a good man. He was a very good man. I don't know what happened between him and my mom's, but what I got out of him was patience. He never disciplined me, and I put my hand on the Bible. My dad has never disciplined me. So I saw him be very patient with me. I saw him kneel down and pray all the time. And I saw him get up and go work at 2 a.m. and be a taxi driver. Right. So his resiliency, his determination, his spirit, and his patience in terms of how he walked through life was very significant to me, and very calming to me. So I catch myself having those calming spirits and those patient moments, and it reminds me of how, like, my dad was very patient and very graceful with himself. Right. It wasn't until 5 years before he died, or maybe a little longer or less than that, that he actually got a job in his field. He had 3 degrees, right, and he was a taxi driver and some other stuff all the way up until he got a job with NASA, and so some other stuff like that, right? But my dad, one of the other things that in the present form that my dad did for me was he took me to Italy and Nigeria, right? So traveling has been like a thing in how I parent and how I walk, how I do things. So yeah, for sure, that's some of the top 3 things that I got from my dad. Um, Even though he wasn't as present as I really wanted him to be honest with you. So I'm gonna transition that over to the adverse, right? Like some things that um, my dad may have indirectly did that he may not even known, right? That I'm now choosing not to do in this space, right? And it's QT, right? And my father didn't have a choice, so to speak, right? He did, but he didn't, right? And because my father didn't live in the household, and when he did get me, he either was working out, praying, or working, right? We really didn't do much of, you know, father son type things. We visit family, which is another thing I got from my dad, but outside of that, it wasn't no quality time. So when you ask the question, Sean, about would I talk to my younger self, that's probably one of the reasons, right? Just trying to really get a real understanding of like the space I was in, because I didn't really have like anybody to talk to, right? So that's how I talk to my kids now. I over communicate to my kids a lot. So yeah, that's just some of the things that I've determined to kind of like flip the script on in terms of how I was raised. Colin, man, what's as great as your father has been to you in your life, right? What's some of the things that or one of the things, right, that you were like, yeah, like I see you, Dad, but I ain't doing that.
Yeah, and that's difficult, right? Because it's tied to one of the things he did that I do appreciate and do, and it's the same thing, quality time, right? So my dad was a workaholic and a provider. That's how he loved us. Like, I'ma go get it and make sure y'all don't want for nothing, because I grew up wanting for a lot, and I don't want my kids to go through that. And so I mean, we, I remember the transition. Like my older sister remembers the struggle. She was much older when things got better. I kind of grew up of a little bit of like upper lower class to middle class transition. My younger sister, she just the spoiled brat. She knows no struggle, right? But I remember that conversation maybe around 12, sitting at the family table, like, hey, got a major promotion at work. It's going to be a blessing to our family. However, I'm not going to be around as much. I'm not going to be at your games, your honor roll assemblies, your this, your that. And in the moment, I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna have all the newest Jordans. Hey, that's what's up. That's all I'm thinking about. In retrospect, I'm like, dang, he really ain't like. My mom just looked like the single mom, like all my friends who don't have a dad in the house, because she's the only one there. I don't take that from him. From a perspective I have now, like I get it. Like that's what he knew. And listen, I got a lot less student loans than a lot of people I know because of it. So I appreciate every bit of it. How I'm trying to evolve with the next generation is how can I be just as much of a provider and not sacrifice the quality time? So I've been constantly figuring out how to work smarter, not harder, how to have residual income that doesn't necessarily take me out of the household as much. So I can help with homework and be at the games and be at the practices with my children. And then the part that I'll kind of connect to that quality time, similar to you, Ali, is the communication piece. Again, Dad grew up old school Mississippi. Kids are kids stay in the kids' place. Like, do this now because I said so. It ain't really this whole like conversational piece. And I'm a very like I need to understand why I'm doing things type of person. So that caused a lot of friction growing up with me being just required to do things without an understanding. So with my children, like and it's a double-edged sword. They are allowed to have a voice. They are allowed to, like, I'll give them understanding because I value that. And that's a double-edged sword because sometimes it come off a little bit too much talk back, but I think we're gonna get into that more later. But yeah, that quality time for sure.
Yeah, Yush was your dad was heavy for you, right? But I'm sure, right, he did some things that was like, yo, I ain't doing that at all.
Listen, I'm telling a story. I'm telling a story about my father that many people will be surprised to hear, right? Especially when I say he had a nurturing spirit. My father's name was Manny Boy. His real name was Linwood Blackwell, but everybody knew him as Manny Boy, right? So if you go to my hometown and you talk to anybody that was probably born 85 or better, you say Manny Boy, they know who he is. But Manny Boy really comes from the song by Muddy Waters called Mannish Boy. My father was nicknamed Mannish Boy because he was bad. He was bad as hell as a kid, and I don't think he ever grew out of it. He played too damn much. Too much. Like, and he played with a straight face. So you never knew if he was playing or if he was serious. Like my father was the type of person, like he picked on everybody. He was the type of person that would like bop you over the head for no reason. He would like walk into a space, and it's funny because it's country. When Kyla talk about country stuff, it's country, so you may not laugh at it, you may not think it's funny, but he would walk into any space and just call somebody a white mouth mule or Billy Goat and like make a whole like Billy Goat sound just to mess with him, or like smack him in the back of the head or put you in the headlock and give you one of these. Like he was just like, and for him, it was like his idea of connecting and bonding, and it was just fun. But it was like, nigga, stop touching me, dog. Stop hitting me. And I ain't like to be hit, but nobody liked it. Like we got stories of like my cousins eventually getting older and like trying to jump my dad because he was playing too damn much, too much. I just told him, I remember having a conversation with him one time when I was like 15. I was like, nigga, did you ever grow up? Did you grow up?
So you should now you're super serious. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not super serious. I think what I have he had a serious nature too. Don't get it twisted. Like even Heal Me is about my father's serious side. I think his playful side, to me, in retrospect, my father played like that because he was extremely intelligent. And he couldn't have conversations with everybody because when he tried to talk to people about the deeper things that he pondered, he didn't have his group either. He didn't have what we all have. He didn't have what we needed. So when he tried to ponder and have these deeper conversations or these more, that he had no tribe for that. So he spent his time playing with people because for him that was like his dumb down for real. Now, what I decided to do was instead of being a person who picked on everybody, because I used to pick on people too as a kid, I followed in his footsteps at first. But as an adult, especially working in the school system and seeing the value and understanding the vibrational frequency of words and how much they play on people's psyche, I decided to be a person who would use my words differently and my time differently. So, you know what I'm saying? I have an intentional practice of like speaking life into people and loving up on people. It don't mean that I can't play too much sometimes with my daughter, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna be my dad. He played too damn much, and he ain't read the room. He ain't catch the cue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So speaking of intentional, right? This was very intentional that I left Sean for this question because he's coming from a situation where I feel like most of our listeners, not most of, like some of our listeners can correlate to, right? Coming from a situation where maybe their father was there, but he was going through some situations, right? And I'm sure as a very conscious person, Sean, that you saw some things that you was just like, this man tripping. And I don't see how he could ever be doing what he's doing while he got kids. I want you to speak to that as you talk about some other things that you don't repeat. And the reason why I'm saying I want you to speak to it because it's important for our listeners to get something out of that because you got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of heavy, right? Because my circumstance is completely different from what the circumstance is for my kids, right? In the environment. I definitely saw a lot of things that opened my eyes to the reality of the world and what the possibilities of life, right? In a lot of bad ways. I think that it is very important for us as parents to be transparent, to be strong in communicating with our kids, to allow our kids a space to be able to ask questions and to converse, especially going into what Colin said, because I'm the same way, where I just need to understand. There's a level of understanding that I just had to have as a kid, even to be able to follow certain directions, right? But then, it's kind of like you have this Superman or Superwoman image of your parents until you don't. And you see something that brings the reality to the fact that they are human beings themselves, right? And so, kind of to get back to answering your question, one thing that I do different is I try to be as transparent as possible with my children about the positives as well as the negatives in my life so that regardless, my consistency in how I love and how I parent cuts through it all, right? For my father, that just was not existent. One, because we didn't really have too much of a strong relationship, right? And so if there is a void, quote unquote, that is unfulfilled with our relationship, with communication, with what I perceived as love at that time, when I start to feel that with the negatives that then come about, that creates how I view him moving forward.
Hey, Sean, I just want to say, man, that was a different lifetime for me, and I'm sorry, son.
Hey, well, I appreciate it. Now you traveling the world with your saxophone, bro. I love you for it.
Hey,
If I could though, something that I don't want to repeat, it's in line with Ali and Colin, is just presence, right? I want to make sure that I provide presence for my children. Growing up, I had a certain perception of what love was and what I thought love was. And a lot of that was from my mom because she was the one that was present, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a grown man and now as a father, what I'm able to see is that my father did love me. He just loved me in different ways, right? I spoke to how I'm good with my hands, doing construction, working on cars, being able to cook, being organized. All of those things came from my father. However, my perception of love at that time was completely different because of how my mom loved me and the fact that she was constantly in my life where I felt like he didn't love me until I got older. And then I was able to have the mature mindset to then see how he benefited my life. And I'm alike in a lot of ways. But one thing that I definitely am determined to change is presence. I want to be a part of everything with my kids. Everything.
Yeah, you do an incredible job, man. I just want to say I got a chance to go to your house for brunch, man. And one, you don't stop moving, but it's like when I say you don't stop moving, I'm really speaking to how much energy, right? How much energy you have. But it's like you're always organizing, right? But I know that has to be, kind of like a real asset to your family, right? Because Sean's like, he's eating, he's entertaining his guests, he's washing the dishes, he's taking care of the kids, he's picking up the baby, he's feeding the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, Renaissance do it all. You know what I'm saying? So dope, man. You do a good job.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro.
You should, before you light it up real quick, man, I just want to say to that, I think it's really speaking to our generation, right? I think we all value quality time with our seeds. And it must have been something during the time of the baby boomers and our parents and just getting to it. I'm not knocking no parents who raised us, man. They had to get to the grind and to do what they had to do. So that we can have this quality time that we having with our kids. So just want to make sure we shout that out. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Man, shout out to the good things we learned. All right, cool. Let's light it up real quick. Let's have a little fun. Y'all ready?
Yep.
That's good.
I got a fun activity for us. This is basically, listen, we know where we come from. Before I do this, I think it's funny, right? Because I know what we're about to talk about. And I know when Ali was saying that his father never whooped him, I was like, yo, was that like an African thing? Because I don't know, do African parents like whoop their kids or they just really talk to them? I don't know. I'm asking.
I was surprised that you said that. I thought
no. My dad was different, but it's not African. I can't speak for the continent of Africa. You should know better than to say that shit. But okay. From where I'm from, Nigeria parents don't play, dog. Like they bringing out everything that they can to whip your ass. So, but the mere fact that my dad didn't do, I promise you, he never raised his hand at me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, nah.
My
dad was just different.
My dad didn't whoop me either. My dad never whooped me. He played too much, and it was always out of joke. He'd be like, "Man, stop hitting me," right? But it wasn't like I'm whooping you. My mother whooped us, but my dad would always be like, "Don't whoop my children," because my dad didn't get whoopings as a kid, which is why I think he was so bad. He never got whooped. But I think I related that to like the way my mother whooped us was very slaverish. Like it was like she like, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't whoop no clothes, go outside, get a dog whistle. It was very slave like.
I came close to getting a whipping though from my dad. It was over not getting a B. What is this C? What is this A that you are? We are supposed to get an A. You have a B. That's the A, and you get that. No, you close to getting your ass whipped, right? But you're not getting your ass whipped. Then you're getting sent back to Nigeria.
See, look. With that being said, this next segment is what would you whoop them for, right? Whoop them or not? Whoop them or not? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to put y'all on the spot, right? We're going to ask each other a question, a scenario, and your answer is like, do I whoop them or do I not? And if you're not whooping them, tell us what you're going to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Sean on the spot first. And I'm going to be like, Sean, ask somebody, a question, and then pose what they whoop or not.
I'm ready. So let me ask Ali. So let me paint the picture. You are at work. It's one of those days where like you are not on your phone because you just so entrenched in what you got going on, right? And so you don't even see the ring alerts and that your door has been open. There's motion in the house, so on and so forth. You come home for lunch because again, you were just so busy that you didn't even think about grabbing your lunch. So you say, okay, all right, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna get something to eat. You hear movement upstairs as you go to grab your lunch. You walk upstairs and you open up the door to your oldest daughter's room and you see her laying in the bed with a gentleman. Are you whooping or not? Ooh, I just saw a boy. Your eyes just turned red for a second. Come back to earth, bruh. Come back to earth.
It did. While you were asking the question, my blood pressure was rising. I was taking a deep breath. And I was like, oh, I seen this in Boys in the Hood. Right? I think as a girl dad, you think about this moment. Because as a young male, right, that was me. Because that was me, and who my dad was, and because I know what that act actually isn't right. So I'm not, and this is also a proponent of me believing that no man should hit a woman, right? Mm-hmm. And me also setting the precedence with my kids, my daughters, that I don't ever want them to see rage from a man where they have to fear them being hit. So I'm giving you how I'm getting to the decision of not whipping ass, quite frankly. The dude is a little different, depending on his age, depending on what he looked like, depending on his energy, right? You know what I mean? I might put my hands on him, or somebody else might put his hands on him, right? Either way, somebody getting their hands. He getting it, right?
Somebody getting whooping.
Hell nah, 100, because the reality, or his father, or somebody, dog, because I don't play that. You know what I mean? Like, it can happen once, and I just want to let you know it ain't gonna happen again. So, like, it's either gonna be real physical, or like, yeah. But that's pretty much my response to it.
Respect, brother.
So
you ain't never been that guy growing up, Ali? You was never that guy?
No, that's what I said. I did that. I did that.
What it said, but
I hate saying that I did it too, man, because I got and the youngin' I did it to, dog. She a preacher now, right? Flat out. Yeah. And
Wow.
people who listen to this, they probably gonna know what the fuck I'm
you
talking
helped
about.
to find God. You helped.
Yeah. Huh? What'd you say? Stop. All right, young. Ooh, I got you.
While you was telling that story, I had a flashback of this closet that me and my homeboy hid in for 3 hours. Came home.
I'm telling y'all, dog. All of us have been.
We was gonna have to jump
all
out
of
the
us have been
second-story
that guy.
floor of an apartment building to get away, dog. But this nigga went and took a shower, and I was like, "Thank you, I'm out."
All right.
And I don't care what he heard on the way out. He was in the shower, nigga. Heavy-footed ass running through that hallway.
I got a good one for you, Yusha. You are at work. Whatever work you got going on, right? You in the studio, you at Jericho, you locked in working, right? And you get a phone call that G got into some issues at school, right? G's in high school, but one of the things you got was that she was drinking and smoking at a homecoming event at her school. That led to her actually getting not sexual activity, but some intimacy with a boy underneath the bleachers. What you doing?
It's a lot of sauce on that. Sheesh.
One, I'm gonna tell you, you could tell that story without mentioning G, because I just felt like, you know what I'm saying, it was too much power over that, man. Take it back.
I take it back. It's not G.
And I was cool until you added the intimacy under the bleachers.
Because that's the whole. You know how it happens, bro.
That's a homecoming night. Change what I'm gonna do. It changes the dynamic. Take it back. Wait, before I answer that, say something better about G. Just say something else.
Yo, by the way, G is, that's why I'm saying that she's the complete opposite of what I just said.
But what would you do? You should, and keep in mind that we're in the era of social media, so we now have people that are going live that are recording everything.
I'm gonna take my father's. My father came home one day. Y'all know I've not always been Yusha. My father came home one day and I was breaking up some weed on the table, and he wasn't supposed to be home. I was actually breaking down a pound, bagging it up so I could move it. And he walked in, and I was like, and he just looked at me. He looked at me. He looked on the table. He walked into his room. He came back to the kitchen, did something, and then when he walked out, he said, "Call me when you get in trouble." So if G did this, if she got drunk enough and high enough to feel the effects of it, I would just let her feel it, and then have a conversation with her about it later. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what come with that. If it got on social media, and I would not whoop her. And the reason why I wouldn't whoop her, because I think the effects of, especially if you're a first-time smoker, the effects of marijuana, the effects of drinking, and the effects of, if it gets on social media, the effects of all of that is, the last thing I want to do is add the effect at home, because at this point, especially if it's social media based, at this point, I want you to feel so loved at home that what people in the world ain't saying, because that type of shit drives kids into another place. And I'm smart enough to know that, like, nah.
I'm glad you put that was her first time, because I ain't say that, but you made it real easy for you to respond, young.
Yeah, I'm not that type, but at the same time, like, I was that kid who grew up when we was growing up. My father and them, you know what I'm saying? They country, they made moonshine. Like, they gave us liquor early. And some people was like, ugh, what is this? We don't want no more. And some people was like, I'm a man now, I got hair on my chest, you know what I mean? But like, they did that. So, you know, I think nah, she ain't getting no whooping for that one. I think the consequences are gonna speak for themselves.
That's really big of you, Use. You've grown in your parenthood. I'm just shout out to you, dog.
Kiana got whoopings growing up. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. We'll talk about that later. I'll tell you exactly what she got whoopings for, but that wouldn't be one.
All right, Use, you got Colin, bro.
I got Colin. Colin!
I'm scared.
That's my my Norbert. If y'all seen Norbert when the dude. Colin, you get a call from the school that one of the children is acting up or not doing what they supposed to at school. You get to the school and you basically talk to the English teacher, and the English teacher tells you that your child has been really not stepping up to the par, not doing their work. They've given them multiple opportunities, and then they tell you one specific story. Right? They tell you that they told your child to get their work done, and the child said, "I'm sleepy, I ain't doing no work." And the child goes to sleep for 15 minutes. And then after that, the child wakes up and just starts playing patty cake and games and other games in the class. And the teacher sends you a video of the child ignoring them when they're telling them to do their work and playing patty cake.
So this is definitely my daughter, because she would be the one to be like, I'm good, I'm not working today. This is kind of easy for me. So no, I'm not whooping. Again, yeah, we're gonna talk about how I feel about whoopings. I kind of got mixed feelings on that, but I mean, I'm gonna have a conversation with my child, you know, just about respect and expectations in the classroom. But for real, I'm probably gonna have a longer conversation with that teacher about classroom management and her ability to hold students accountable to the expectations. Like, yo, you called me for this? Like, you need help? I could train you on classroom management if you need, because how does she even have that option? Because I guarantee you she don't do it in so-and-so's class, and she don't do that at home. So what you got going on here? Me and that teacher need a professional development right there.
Hey.
And I have been known to coach my children's teachers, FYI.
Bro, I got whole emails that just I know for sure sound so condescending, because it's like, who raised you as a teacher, cuz?
Like, let me give you some pointers.
Am I the only one that feels like that's a very interesting perspective? that of what you just said? Am I the only one that feels that way? That's kind of
Yes and no,
wild.
yes and no, because that was a real scenario for real. But at the end of the day, I feel like this. I will always hold teachers accountable, but I tell Gianna all the time, I'm gonna hold everybody accountable. Teachers, you, me. If I feel like I dropped the ball, everybody gonna get held accountable. But like, I don't know. That's actually a real question that I asked you. That happened for real.
Yo, can I add a little twist to Colin's situation? Because that was easy for Colin, right? So Colin, y'all at the basketball game, and Cam's the star player, but he's acting retarded, disrespectful on the court. He's catching texts. Matter of fact, he gets a text and gets like sit down, right? His coach is in his face. Michelle gets up and like tries to like calm him down, like, yo, like you tripping, that's not how we do. He tells Michelle, like, shut up, leave me the fuck alone.
Dun, dun,
like
dun.
like pushes off. What we doing, Colin?
Like I'm there, I witnessed this in a moment.
You see all of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got to square up at that point. Because when it comes to my wife, I forget that you my child for a moment. Like, remember, in the moment I react. Later on, I reflect. Like later on, I'm reflecting. Like, God, dang, I probably went a little hard. But in that moment, oh no, you going like I'm gonna treat you like anybody else disrespecting my wife, child or not. Like
I knew that would take you over, dog.
Like, oh yeah, we lost it. But Sean, why did you feel like my response was interesting?
I felt like your response was interesting, and I think that it may be rooted in the fact that you are an educator yourself. However, I did not hear accountability as it pertains to your child in that situation. When, based on the situation that I heard, it sounded pretty clear that regardless of whether there was an open opportunity for your child to do that, your child did that, right? And so I just didn't hear the accountability that you held on your child.
Yeah, and that's the part where, to like what you're saying, like it might come off condescending. Like it's difficult when I'm having those conversations with teachers because I don't want them to feel like I'm not holding my child accountable, because I'm always going to hold my child accountable. And my child is a child. And any child, if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's like, in my mind, I'm kind of like, okay, like, I'm going to hold you accountable. This is not okay. There's going to be some consequences at home. Whatever consequences the school has, I support that. And teacher lady, like, or teacher sir, like, hey, let's talk about what happened, what led up to this. Where are some things where you could have put some stops in place to not even let it go this far? You know, because for this type of behavior to be allowed in your classroom, like what's the environment there? You know, so that's why I say that.
You taught in PG, right?
I taught in PG.
All y'all went to PG school? Anybody go to DCPS school?
Nope.
Hey, DCPS schools is different. It is different. And it's one of them things where it's like, no matter how much classroom management you got, there's a certain level of things that can happen in your class, or like that would not happen in other class. Like I had great classroom management and still had to deal with things I never had to deal with in North Carolina as a teacher.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I taught in Southeast Maryland, so I get that.
Right.
Like,
so when I hear that problem in DC, I'm like, that could be a plethora of kids acting like that, and that could be your kid trying to see if they can be the other kids for the day.
Yeah.
Nah.
But we talking about my kid. Like, if my kid doing that, like, what's going on?
We gotta give Sean a scenario.
Oh, it's easy. I got one, and this is a real life, or a variation of a real life thing that happened. All right, so Sean, you I'm gonna not get a call from work at school because everybody else already used that. You at home, the kids are outside playing in the neighborhood with other kids. Okay, you're in the house doing whatever. One of the kids runs in the house and is like, Dad, I'm gonna go with your oldest. Sean just got in a fight. He got in a fight. He beat somebody up. He got in a fight outside. And then you run outside and you witness the aftermath of an altercation where Sean is like hype. He's like upset, fist balled up. And there's a person on the ground who he just beat up, bleeding. and you go to check on Sean, make sure he's good. This person is like people gathered around them. They down there like hurt because he just whooped them. And when the people move, you see that it was a girl that he beat up. He got beef with a girl and like whooped her. She's smaller than him. It's a young lady that he beat up. Whooping or not.
Wow. That was a crazy turn that I was not expecting.
Yeah.
I think so. To answer the question,
I was so proud of his question.
Knew it was gonna get him.
yeah. I mean, to answer the question, more than likely, I will. I will put my hands on him. Now, that does not necessarily mean that in that moment I will put my hands on him. I think in that moment I would have to do a lot of data collection, and I would also have to first I would go to the young lady, right? I would check on the young lady. I would check to make sure that she's okay, despite her being on the ground, being bruised, so on and so forth. I would make sure that the area is safe, right? Because I'm not the only parent. So just making sure that the area is safe. And just in that, I would be doing a lot of data collection. I think that will then allow me to determine whether I'm going to put my hands on him right then and there, or whether we are going to go home and I'm going to put my hands on him. But I'm probably leaning more so towards the latter of waiting until we get home, because at that point, I think that I would probably be trying to usher that young lady home.
Yeah.
That's one of the joints where you take your son in the basement, you put on boxing gloves, and you say, what you just did to that young girl, you know what I'm saying? And that not even where you have to really get some solid licks on them, but just like, yo, you took advantage of somebody.
Yeah.
What I feel like if I take, you know what I'm saying? Feel what it feels like to be taken advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, I got a real life scenario of what you just said with one of my nephews, and it was him disrespecting his mother. That was broad daylight outside his house, people walking their dogs, pushing strollers, and we had them gloves on. So that's a whole nother story. We could talk about that.
That was a good. Kyle is still smiling. He like, yeah, I asked a great question.
I was hoping none of y'all stole that one before it got to me.
So in summary, we whooping ass except for the girls, because I ain't nobody said that they was gonna whip their girls' ass.
Oh no, I listen.
And so I mean, I just want to make sure that, like, you know, this comes out of this particular topic, that in terms of like disciplining, physically disciplining our kids and whipping ass, everybody gave a scenario, with the exception, I think, Sean, that had their daughter involved, and all three of us, Yusha, Colin, and myself, at the WWAN, said that they would not whoop their daughter. I just want to make sure that that's what came out of that. So we can transition, but I just want we can go on to part 2 or whatever we're gonna do. But it was clear that that was the result.
Yusha, how you looking on time? Can we wrap up discipline, or we gonna say that for part 2? Because we definitely gonna have a part 2 of this fatherhood conversation.
Nah, I mean, I think we naturally listen. I think we can go into this conversation about, do we whoop our girls or not? Because I think that just naturally just came up for real. Like, do you whoop your girls? And I think Ali is saying you don't whoop your girls, but I didn't. I said no to that scenario. I've had a real issue about whether I have a daughter. I only have one child.
Oh, are we about to go into it, or can this be to be continued? Is this to be? Because
we at the door of it for real.
Let's leave it. Let's leave it. Let's leave it at the door so the people can be waiting.
Yeah, I better come back for part 2. We're gonna talk about that.
I think that's a juicy topic, dog. Like,
we got a few more things to discuss.
Yeah. But nah, Yusha, we got to move on and give the people working and winning, man. Like, it's we've been doing real good and talk about the fatherhood, man. We're gonna have this part 2. We're gonna start off with.
We just want to save everything else for part 2. Have people tap in and then just go. Okay, all right. Listen. y'all better come back for part 2 because I have real trauma around whether or not I was going. Okay.
Part two, we still got to talk about discipline, vulnerability, how you loving on your kids and how you having time for your kids. So like
time
part 2
management
topic. Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot to unpack.
We get to it. All right, cool. Let's transition. Listen, y'all, this is good stuff. I like it. We're going to transition into our conversation about working and winning, y'all. Working and winning is simply one concept, right? If you woke up this morning, if you can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and feel, that means your body works, and that means you have everything to win. So hopefully you will understand that if you woke up this morning, you are working and that you can win. Our goal is to give you some food for thought, something, a tool, a resource, a piece of knowledge, some information that is going to help you use that energy to win. And so to give you that information today, man, we're just going to jump in and give you a little tool, a little resource to win. And Kyler, we're going to start with you, man. What you want to get at people? What's your food for today?
I don't think I've done this one before. So my working and winning, I'm going to talk about Sunday family dinner. In the busyness of life during the week, if you're not intentional with your family, you could look up one day and the kids will be grown and you realize you didn't take time for them important moments, man, and just connect on the little things. So one thing my family has instilled years ago, and we've, for the most part, stayed pretty consistent with it, is on Sundays, we have family dinner together. Scheduling wise, if it can't be that, we might move it to Sunday brunch or like a Saturday dinner. But we rotate who cooks. It might be my turn to cook, Michelle's turn, grandma's turn. The kids have a week where they cook, experiment with a different meal, sit down and eat together, pray together, may give out a scripture or like, what are you looking forward to this week? We usually do some type of dinner table games, and usually that'll transition to like a game night, a movie night or something like that. But it's just one of those things where we just said, like, we're going to pause, phone free, and have some time once a week to lock in together. Sunday family dinner. I strongly recommend, if you don't have something structured like that for your family, you figure it out. Don't got to be dinner, whatever it is, but something once a week that you guys do. Y'all lock in together, spend some quality time together. I'm going to pass it to Ali.
Hey, did you get a win? Did you say what the win was? Did you talked about?
That is the win.
It's the win. Food. The food to help you win.
Yep. It's all one.
Man, I thought you was gonna say you got the job.
You want?
Come on, man!
I got a new job offer. That's what you hype for me.
Hey,
yeah, I'm out here applying right now for my next season. So I'm hoping to have options, though. I'm hoping. I love this offer, but I want to see what else is out there too.
Congrats, man.
Appreciate you.
I'm in a state of where, like, we got to recognize ourselves and the values and the work that we put in. That's a part of working and winning.
Yeah, that's real.
For your boy, man, winning side of things, it's tax season. So as we do introductions, I mentioned I'm a whole lot of things. One of the things I am is I help some people do some of their taxes. It's tax season, and it's looking good. Tax season looking good for you, boy. We're wrapping things up, and I got a couple of clients here right after this. So I'm just learning how to make sure that all of the things that I have as income, right? I have my 9 to 5. I do taxes. I'm a real estate agent. So, just make sure, for anybody that's out there, make sure you have multiple streams of income. Is where I'm going from. Right. In terms of the working side, I just finished wrapping up my wife's birthday celebration, which was a complete hit. We spent some time in Miami with 15 or 16 solid families. We call that friends and family around here. And we spent some time on the north side of Miami Beach, not with the spring breakers, right? But with the yeah. And I mean, and Carla was there, and I appreciate you, Carla, for being there, because normally I don't have a lot of male energy around my wife's celebration, and your presence was definitely something that I appreciated.
Great time.
Also, I don't know if some of y'all know, but we also gifted my wife's her dream car as well. Shout out to that. Y'all check out the reel. It's coming out real soon. Right. And so I'm
Like
super
that.
excited about that, man. I'm super excited about my future, man. Working and winning.
Dope.
Pass it.
I'm gonna pass it to Yusha, man. I'm in the season of we almost out of Ramadan, right? So I'm real curious to see what you've been working and winning
on. Yeah, I signed a new contract this week.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? For some bands.
Some bands.
So, to go from the full-time entrepreneurship struggle 2 years. 2 years. That's crazy. I just thought about that, right? When a baby is born, the weaning, it's 2 years. It's 2 years of being on the mother's breast, and then you got to wean them off. And I think for 2 years, man, I was, you know what I'm saying, a baby for real. But the money keeps flowing in at this point. I'm just like, God, why would you be this good to me?
Amen.
But then I'm like, yeah, that was a time period when we validating every win at this point. Come on now. My food for the week is this book right here. It's called Tender Warrior. It was given to me by, when I first got out of college, diversifying the portfolio, make sure you got multiple streams of income. I was doing this company called Amway Global. And my mentor at Amway found out, my situation. I was having a child, found out my father passed away. And so he gave me this book. It's called Tender Warrior by Stu Weber. It's one of the first books I read just in terms of to help me understand the type of man I wanted to be, right? This warrior, this guy who could hold it down for his family and be there. That stoic side of me, but also the tender, let your baby fall asleep on your chest, skin to skin, kind of that nurturing energy. So I wanted to read what he wrote. But not all of it, because some of it is personal. He said, this book was given to me by our upline diamonds. It's an incredible insight into the minds of men. It is a book for men of distinction, men of substance, godly men of valor. I hope that this book stirs up the king, the warrior, the mentor, and the friend within you. Get free. I suggest this book to any man who is stepping into fatherhood, husbandhood, whatever it may be. Tender Warrior by Stu Weber.
It's a great one. It's in my library. Great book.
Respect.
And Sean.
How I am working and winning. I would say that my work, quote unquote, has been allowing me to win lately, right? Me slowing myself down and paying attention to certain things that are spoken to me from my family, certain desires, but being in a space where I can actually allow what is being said to register in a way to then take the time to provide them with their desires, right? And I have a real life scenario recently. My oldest daughter, just turned 11, had a birthday party. And because I slowed myself down enough to hear her desire, in wanting to go to a concert of her favorite artist, I surprised her with a gift of, presenting her with the tickets for the upcoming concert, right? The win in that was, not only being able to present that to her, but I saw it evoke a certain emotion in her that I've never seen from her as it pertains to joy and like surprisement. And so it was just a great feeling to be able to shock her in that way, where she started to cry just because she was extremely excited. And so that's a win in my book every single day.
Love that, man. Who was the artist?
Melanie Martinez. I'm gonna leave it that's her favorite artist, and I'm gonna take her to see her favorite artist.
I was about to say, you better say that with some confidence, dog.
Yeah.
I
was about to go, into my own, but that's her favorite artist.
So, he was about to give an explanation. He was like, I don't want to.
We at that age now where we not connected to what the kids listen to no more, man.
Yeah. What I will say is that when I found out that Melanie Martinez this is another win, right? When I found out that Melanie Martinez was her favorite artist, the perception if you were to look up Melody Martinez, you would be completely thrown off by how she presents herself as an artist. What I did was I slowed myself down again enough to then watch her videos and actually listen to her music while reading the lyrics. And it allowed me to feel more comfortable with her listening to that music, because the immediate perception, I would have been like, nah, we not doing that in this house, right? So that's another win. And it ties into me just slowing myself down enough to really be in tune and present with how, you know, what she's absorbing and what she's interested in.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Proud of you, man. You going with her?
Yep.
Okay.
Turn up.
Make sure you get the moment, man, and get some video, make a reel of it.
You know I'm not doing none of that, but
we need to see it. We need to engage with Melanie Martinez.
That's gonna take me about 30 minutes to learn how to do that. So we gonna be in the moment and enjoy.
I still got a flip phone and a BlackBerry.
Hey, I wish I still had a beeper, bro. Everybody got phones. I don't need no phone. I don't need no plan. You beat me, I'm gonna be like, hey, bro, let me use your phone real quick.
Yeah, that would be annoying as hell. Yes.
Because they don't call because they don't have the number.
Part two. We got still a lot to discuss on fatherhood. It's a great time for it.
I was
Men's Mental Health Month, Father's Day. So we definitely gonna continue down this road. I'm gonna go ahead and pray us out so we can get on about our day. Man, our hearts and minds clear. Heavenly Father, thank you for this platform, for these opportunities to shine your light to others, to share our experiences, and hopefully it connects to someone and they're able to take something from this and apply it to their lives. Thank you for this community of what we all needed. We ask that you continue to be a present, guiding light in everything that we do with this community. And we're asking that you just bless all the fathers out there as we just figure it out one day at a time. Thank you for all that you are, all that you've been, and all you forever will be. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Now, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, man. And happy Father's Day to all the uncles out there.
Yeah, happy Father's Day. And to the great fathers, we see you, man.
Yeah.
We see you.
Right. Fellas, love y'all, man. What we all needed.
I'ma rock with you forever, bro. That's what makes sense. You know, been tested. You showed up in the trench. Ain't no fake love between us, cause we don't get out an inch. Peace king for life. That's how we work and we win. Real friends. Real friends. Where would I be without my